All right, what's going on, everybody? Hoover 186 back again with another video. Don't be alarmed. Traditionalist will be here in a moment. He just have he has to share the link and everything like that. And the reason why we weren't able to do a podcast on Monday is because he's having internet issues. Um, so um, so he's doing this from his phone. So once he's ready, then we can pretty much get ready for the podcast, get started. Yeah, I am your one half of the Overrated Podcast, Movie 186. Hopefully, you guys are doing okay. Us down here, we have a category, well, like a barely a one storm coming our way. Like we're just above the cone of concern, so it doesn't stop my job from being open. So I'm have to go there after the show, but yeah, but we should be okay. Um, yeah. So anyway, just right while I wait for traditionalists to come on, um, let's see what is there to talk about. Why I stall for time? I do have a couple gaming notes. I do have Call of Duty. What is it? Modern Warfare 2. I'll be talking about that game on Monday. Hopefully, it'll be more of a traditional podcast on Monday. We can talk about that. I have gameplay for that. Also, over the weekend, I'm going to be buying God of War, Ragnarok. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm going to buy it on Saturday, and yeah, and I'll talk about that on the podcast also if I get a chance to play it. Let me see what else is there. Yeah, man. So right now I'm just waiting for Steve to get in here, so we can get started. Yeah, man. So like yeah. So unfortunately, like I said, stuff happened on Monday, so we weren't able to do it. Um, but like I said, if we, we do want to, I do want to say thank you for all the support. You should be coming up right now. I want to thank you guys for all the support. Ever since the start of the podcast, we've been able to really get a hone in ourselves into what we want to do, and this is only just the beginning. What's going on, Ruben? How you doing? Steve, you there? Steve, can you hear me?
My audio.
Yeah. So yeah, he has to do this from his phone right now because of the internet issues.
Say something.
Yeah. Say something. Oh shit. All right. So right now he's yeah, still having some issues, but yeah, but I do want to thank you guys for all your support. And like I said, it's only just the beginning. We're gonna try to improve on the podcast in the near future with upcoming the upcoming year. Hopefully, by the time all the improvements happen, will be our original channel. The Overrated Podcast will be up and running again. And like I said, I have some stuff that I want to buy to improve the quality of the podcast. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, Steve's still having some issues. So in the meantime, let me see. I'm just gonna scroll through Twitter to see if there's anything interesting to talk about. Um, let me see. Let me see. Uh, yeah, right now I'm just looking through Twitter. Um, I guess this will be a I guess we'll talk about this a little bit with the Kyrie stuff. Um, Jacques Vaughn is now the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. There was always this talk about Ime Udoka becoming the head coach, but since he's dealing with his issues, I thought it was the right decision to just stick with someone from in house. Like it just made no sense to bring him in when he has all the issues that he's dealing with. So and look, when he's ready to when he's ready to talk about it, then he'll be more equipped to do it. So let me see. Uh, I mean the DVD for Thor: Love and Thunder came out. The movie has literally. I have no interest in the movie, so I'm not going to watch it. Let's see. Like I said, God of War is out right now, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward. I'm gonna wait till Saturday to buy it because I get paid a couple days before, so I have some. I have some of my disposable income available. Plus, we have some more stuff going on that day. So looking forward to that. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. What else is there to talk about? Mm, Man, I do a bad job of trying to come up with stuff to talk about. Like I need something to really, you know, motivate me to talk about. So I apologize for that. Like I'm trying to dodge. Oh, you were never a Kratos fan? Yeah, it's fine. It's cool. Like it's not, not that big of a deal. I see our friend is back. All right. Hello.
Yeah,
Okay. What's going on?
technical difficulties as always.
Hmm.
For goodness sakes. Well, yeah, it looks like everything's fine now.
Okay. All right. So,
This is annoying. My apologies, everyone that's in the chat. I can't see anyone because I'm using my phone again.
mhm.
Apparently there was something going on with my Xfinity box, and this poor excuse of a pathetic company didn't want to help me update the box. They said I had to do it on my own, but I couldn't do that because I had to work double. So it was very difficult for me to do that. But I'll make sure that everything is up and running by Monday. But if the quality is awful, if the audio sounds awful, my humble apologies.
No, you sound fine. You sound fine. I'm just trying to find stuff to talk about to just to talk about. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, yeah, but this is the traditionalist 101, and man, I was just so looking forward to talk about on Monday, the stuff to talk about on Monday, because man, I was just waiting to talk a lot of smack about your Dolphins. But since we're in midweek, I guess we could skip all that for now.
No, I mean, there's nothing to talk. There's nothing smack to talk about. We won.
Yeah, yeah, cheated.
Wait, okay. How did we cheat?
That because you guys committed a pass interference
Mm-hmm.
and the official didn't call it,
Okay.
so you guys cheated to win that game.
How, that makes no sense whatsoever.
It makes perfect sense.
No, it doesn't.
That's why I called you a very big cheat. That official that idiot stupid official was responsible for you guys winning that game. It was because of him that why you guys
Referees
won.
make bad calls all the time. Okay.
Not
So
not not when it's that blatant. Not when it's that obvious.
clearly, it's not blatant enough because they didn't call it.
I already showed you the picture. I showed you the video. You're lucky.
I was
You're
watching.
lucky. I'm using my phone. You're lucky. I'm using my phone right now.
I was watching the game.
I was watching the game too.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to call pass interference, but they didn't.
Okay, so the fact that you thought that
Mm-hmm.
clearly means that he intentionally didn't want to call that foul. He clearly didn't want to call it. He didn't want to throw the flag, and that's why you guys won.
What's the motivation for him not making the call?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
No, okay,
But
no.
he, but he, but
You're the one
he's
that's
responsible.
yeah, of course he's responsible. You're the one that's saying
Okay,
he did. So how did he cheat? Why did he cheat?
because he hates the Bears. Maybe that's why.
And you have any proof of that?
Well, I think it seems like all the officials hate the Bears. At this point, they
Based on
that
what?
team that team could never get a break.
Based
But
on what?
here's what I want to say, right? Because I can't show.
You said something you haven't mentioned. Based on what? You said that the referees hate the Bears. Based on what?
I think the referees hate. I think the officials hate that team.
Based on what?
It's a conspiracy, but I don't want to get into.
Based
I don't want to get into that right
on
now.
what? You no,
It's a conspiracy.
you had all this energy on Twitter, but yet now when it comes time to actually voice your reasoning, you ain't got nothing to say.
No, I have plenty to say, but I want to actually show everything on screen, but I can't.
And you can't say it without showing it. Everyone who watched the game knows that it was pass interference, but they didn't call it.
Oh,
I'm
clear
asking
you.
I'm
Okay,
asking
let me
you why
here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to know before I answer that. Here's
you're
what I
not
want to
gonna
know.
answer it, but go ahead.
Do you think that call, that non-call, cost them that game? Yes or
No,
no?
no,
So
no,
you
no,
guys would have won anyway.
no. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you why. Because fourth
Okay.
and 10, the Bears wide receiver had the ball in his hands and he dropped it. He had his opportunity. And he dropped it. So
Yeah, but it would have been first and 10 if that official had thrown that flag.
yeah, of course, yeah,
Yeah.
no shit. But they had an
Okay.
opportunity at 4th and 10, and they failed. So what am I supposed to do? Get upset about it?
Of course you're not going to get upset about it because it's your team. I'm sure
Okay.
you were happy that they didn't. I'm sure you were happy he didn't throw that flag. I'm sure
I
you
was
were.
ecstatic. I was absolutely ecstatic. I was happy.
Of course you were. Of course you were. But look, it was actually a very entertaining game. I'll actually admit that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to say real quick before we move on. Right.
Mhm.
Um. You guys not only you guys should actually be ashamed of yourselves. You really should. You actually should be ashamed of yourselves because if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that team trying to tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, that team is trying to tank. And the fact that they pretty much everybody. The only two guys that they pretty much kept is Money and Eddie Jackson. Frankly, everybody else they got rid of. They got rid of everybody else. And the fact that they were still able to hang on and beat a team as talented as Miami is, you guys should be ashamed of yourself. In my opinion, you guys should have blown that team away with no problem whatsoever.
That's not how the NFL works.
You should have blown that team away.
That's not how the NFL works.
I'm just saying.
That's not how the
You
NFL
should
works.
you should have blown them away.
And you guys should not have
They,
lost to
they,
the Patriots, but you did that all. But you did that. So
they
yeah,
got
that's not how
they got Belichick. They got Belichick.
okay. And who else?
they got Belichick.
And who else?
I'm talking about you guys because with the Bears, they all the talented guys that they had, they don't
We're
have
on defense.
anymore.
We're on defense.
Huh?
All their
They got rid of
talented guys
them.
were on defense.
Okay.
And what did that result in? Them giving up 35 points.
But you guys gave up 32.
Yeah, our defense is not good right now. They gave up 31 to was it 31 or 34? They gave up a lot of points to Detroit also. Our defense is not good right now.
How close was that game? I can't remember how close that game was.
It was close. It was close. It was close. Detroit had a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, because we have a quarterback and we have two great wide receivers, we overcame that. It is what it is.
I guess I'm happy that the Jets won, and I'm surprised that you had the nerve to say that I forgot what you basically said last week, but I think you said something about that you're going to kick our behinds when we face each other again.
Absolutely, we are. Absolutely, we are.
I think what you need to try. I think right now you should try to focus on surpassing us in the division first. I think that's what you need to focus on.
You're up on a technicality. You're up on.
We're still up though, right?
Yeah, on a technicality. Don't worry,
Yeah.
we're going to smoke you guys when you come down here. That's what's going to happen.
Oh my gosh! And the reason why I was so happy about that game because last week when I said our season is pretty much over because of Brees Hall, my goodness, like Robinson stepped up, freak and what's his name? He had Carter stepped up. I'm not saying that our team is talented as you guys are. Obviously, you guys are talented in the offensive end, but I think we are much better than you guys are in the defensive side.
I mean, you guys are
in
good
the defensive side.
You guys have a good defense.
Yeah. So I think you saying that you're going to kick our behinds. Yeah, I think you're taking it a little bit too far, buddy.
You absolutely are.
You're taking it way too far.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let me read the comment, then we can start. Ruben said that I prefer Bayonetta. Another topic would have been the replacement of the voice actress for Bayonetta for violating her NDA. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked, and it was a pretty good discussion too. Yeah. I think you probably missed that one, but yeah, it was definitely a good discussion. Hoovy, and I'll just say this: Hoovy thinks that her career is over. Do you still feel that way?
Yep.
I think she probably might get another chance. I think she might get another chance.
I wouldn't give her another chance. Personally, I wouldn't.
Oh, okay. So you truly believe that she lied then? And you truly believe that she lied about
she ain't bring up no receipts. All the receipts that came up was on their end. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Ruben said that it sounds like the Bears' fault. I mean, yeah, don't give up 35 points. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
Well, I do partially blame the Bears, but not because of that. Because of the organization. Because when you let guys go like Cleo Mack, Smith, and Quinn, like when you let all these guys go, and I think they got rid of Gibson too.
Yeah, but they weren't good with those guys, so they decided to trade them to get some assets.
Right. I mean, I mean, I guess. I mean, I guess. I
Yeah.
guess.
So F is in the chat. How you doing, F? Motel
What's
said,
up, F?
what's going on, Motel?
Motel.
Let's see
What's
how
up, brother?
he said that. Let's see how Kyrie gets himself out of this one. And on that note, let's start with the Kyrie Irving topic.
Yeah, and oh, one last thing. Speaking of gaming, because since Ruben wanted to bring up Bayonetta, I am proud to announce before we start our official podcast, I am proud to announce that I, Traditionalist 101, have this outstanding game over here, and this is Sonic Frontier. I just bought this today. Look, I did not care how bad the storm was. I didn't give a rat's ass. I didn't care. I wanted to make sure I got this game today because I wanted to get this thing day one, but I couldn't. I wasn't able to because I had to work. But today, I went to Best Buy, sold out. They didn't have it. I went to Target, didn't have it. And unfortunately, I had to go to freaking GameStop, that stupid company. I had to go to GameStop, and they actually had the Sonic Frontier game. So I'm definitely happy with this. So I'm gonna try to play it either tonight or this weekend, and I'm going to give you guys a quick review how I feel about this game on our next podcast, movie, if you don't mind, sir.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna do the same thing with I'm gonna do the same thing with the vastly superior game God of War. So and Call of Duty. So we'll be gaming heavy next
Yeah,
podcast.
we'll be gaming, and remember, do you remember the comic that I told you about, the Tekken comic?
Mm-hmm.
This one here, dude, the two comics that I had was so good that I decided to buy the whole entire volume. This is
Okay.
the whole volume right here, volume one. So I'm gonna make sure that I get the rest of it because man, the story is phenomenal. Did you see the post I put on Twitter of because you're kicking James behind?
Yeah, I saw it.
Dude, he was whooping him up. Freaking Jen said, "Please." Even I said, "Dude, what the hell? What the hell are you saying please for?" And then when I continue reading, Kazir pretty much said the exact same thing. I started laughing, so that's why I had to post it. I had to post it. So I'm going to give a review on that on my channel, and I'm going
Mhm.
to give a review on this also.
Okay.
The one that you said that I was faking being all hyped about this comic. I read it twice, so now I'm officially ready to give a review on it. But just to give a short preview, not preview, but it's a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
It's a 7 out of 10. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward for next week because we're gonna do a lot of video gaming reviews next week. So I'm looking forward for that. But with all that being said, let's start with the first topic.
All right. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. Just give you your synopsis on. Hold on. Just give me 1 second. All right. Let me turn on the air. Hold on.
Okay, so now he has to go away. Um. So yeah, look, this comic is fantastic. The reason why I love it so much is because the they made just about every character in the story in this comic actually mattered.
Okay.
They made every single character matter. And go ahead.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
Or you back? Okay, okay. So all right, that's it. Since he's back, that's enough. I'm gonna have my own review, and we'll talk about it on Monday as well. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So where we last left off on the podcast, we did an overtime episode, covering Steve Nash. Right. We did that. Now, obviously, Steve Nash left or got fired, whatever the thing was. And the straw that broke the camel back, in my opinion, was everything going on with Kyrie, right? So if you don't
Hmm.
know, he shared an anti-Semitic movie on his Twitter. Um, he doubled down for one, had a big argument with Nick Friedel, who I heard is Jewish, by the way, so that made matters worse.
Yeah.
So okay, so where we last left off, Steve Nash leaves, right? So right after that, right, Kyrie Irving finally shows up to do media, right?
Hmm.
Shows up to do media, and he pretty much said that he pretty much did not apologize. He said that, the stuff that he shared was unfortunate, that it was something he didn't mean to hurt nobody, but he never apologized.
Yeah.
And when he was asked point blank whether or not you're anti-Semitic, he didn't say no. He said that, "Oh, if I cannot be anti-Semitic because I know where I come from," which is
Where
not
I
an
came
answer.
from, yes.
Yeah, which is not an answer. And from what I heard, that type of rhetoric is in the movie. Is that type of rhetoric is something that you would get from that movie?
Are you going to watch it?
No.
Oh, okay. I only asked because with all the crazy controversy that's been going on, I
Mhm.
thought that would probably impel for me to watch.
Fuck no, absolutely not.
Okay.
So after that, now mind you, in that time before he did the media thing, he did donate. Both the Nets and Kyrie donated. What was it? $500,000 basically to the ADL, which is the Anti Defamation League, right?
Hmm.
After that press conference where he didn't apologize or whatever, they decided, yo, we're not taking your money. We're not taking your money because you were not sincere in your quote apology in your words, right? So that happened. Then he gets suspended 5 games. 5 games he gets suspended because like I said, they didn't he didn't apologize.
He
He
wasn't
didn't apologize.
remorseful.
Yeah.
Yeah, unapologetic. So that's why they gave him 5 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have the
Um
article?
yeah. I have the article, but
Okay, okay.
I'll read snippets of it, but I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Just for the
No
sake.
problem, no problem.
Um all right, so for several agonizing days, the plea had grown into a crescendo for Nets owner Joe Tsai to punish Kyrie Irving. The most important and invested voices in his orbit, including NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and Nets GM Sean Marks, has sided with the broad swatch of the public in believing that Irving's refusal to condemn the content of an anti-Semitic film he shared on social media had left the Nets no choice but to suspend him. Sources told ESPN. So, let me see. There's more to read here. Okay, fine. Against the backdrop of calls for swift action, sources said Tsai had resisted and insisted on taking time to educate Irving on the horrors of anti-Semitism. He'd enlisted the counsel of the ADL, which is what we mentioned. Watched the full 3.5 hours of the hate-filled movie Irving had shared. Hebrews to Negroes Wake Up Black America, complete with hold on a second, complete with its Holocaust denialism and quoting of anti-Semites such as Adolf Hitler and Henry Ford, and researched the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, whose beliefs Irving frequently references in public settings. So let me see. Okay, as it turned out, the redemption arc that Sai had imagined for his star had devolved into what the owner felt was a rep- repetitive exercise in Irving's betrayal of good faith, sources said. For nearly a week, Sai kept extending the clock to give Irving a chance to get this right for himself, the franchise, and the Jewish community, and Irving never returned a single one of his text messages, sources said. Almost a week later, Irving has shown no inclination to deliver an apology, nor a disassociation of the movie contents, nor a willingness to answer no when asked if he had held anti-Semitic beliefs. The team Thursday levied a 5-game suspension without pay, declaring Irving currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. So yeah, so they gave him the suspension, 5-game suspension, but that's the minimum. That was the
Yeah.
minimum that they gave him, right? So So they did that, and they gave him 6 steps. I know you shared this with me I know you shared this with me on our private chat. I'm trying to look for it right now. Um, let's see, where are the 6 steps?
Yeah, it's still in where it's just you and I,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
private chat.
I'm trying to look for it. I obviously I can't pull it up here, but at least I can read what he has to do. Um, man, I can't find it, man. Shit.
Trust me, it's there.
All right, let me look on the main. Let me look on the computer. But yeah, what's your thoughts on all this? Because here's the thing. Before he had delayed the release of his new shoe, so that's not good for him. And apparently they him and Nike have a rocky relationship anyway. So you know, but his shoes are top sellers. He has very popular shoes. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
and you're saying they've been having a bad relationship prior to this?
yeah, because apparently he didn't like the shoes that he had prior. So so it is what it is. Um, but what's your thoughts about all this?
I think all of this is ridiculous. I honestly do. I believe that whatever he decided, because he brought up a very good point when he was talking to the media, where he said he's not the one that made the movie, he's not the one that produced it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
All he did was just put it in social media. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So when he said that, I said to myself, you know what? Everybody should pretty much be mad at Amazon, not Kyrie. They
I
should be
don't
mad at Amazon.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that
Why not?
because the reason why this book has gotten so much popular right now is because of Kyrie. Is one like who gives a shit? Like again, you have all sorts of shitty media everywhere. If it's not going to be on Amazon, it was going to be on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going, people are going to find it. You know how people find it even easier is when a guy who has all those YouTube who has a huge following like Kyrie shares it. It's no different from sharing a batshit crazy YouTube conspiracy theory on your channel. I mean on your Twitter. So him saying, "Oh, I didn't create the book." No shit, you didn't create the book, you fucking idiot. The fact is that you shared it, and that's a problem.
Him sharing him just measly sharing it is a big problem for you.
Yeah, yeah, because you gave it notoriety. You gave
I
you
mean,
gave you gave the book notoriety.
at the end of the day, you still have a choice to watch the movie or not. You choose
Of
not
course,
to
obviously,
watch. And somebody
obviously,
and somebody and if somebody says that, you know what, let me just watch, see what this thing is all about, they have the right to do that. I don't see nothing wrong with
I
that.
I agree with that. The problem is that you have a fan base full of Jewish people who you represent. You represent a company. You represent a brand. And one of your top players of that brand is sharing an anti-Semitic book or movie, yeah, that's not good for your brand. Not good for your brand. So, well, you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I don't. And did you find that? Did you
Yeah,
find
yeah,
that stupid?
I found it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. And I have something to say about that.
Okay, so here are the 6 steps that he must require in order to uh to come back to the team, right? Apologize and condemn the film he promoted. Oh, hold on. I forgot to say this. All right. After he got suspended, and then that's when he decided to apologize on Instagram.
After he got suspended, yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, my guy, if you're going to say all that, now again, we don't even know if he even wrote that apology. But if you're going to put that on your platform, why couldn't you fucking just say that why couldn't you have that post and just read that to the media and be done with it?
Why? Because
Yeah.
he knew. this was probably his best option now that he knew that he got suspended. That's why
It's dumb. Because now you lose money because of your stubbornness, because of your pride.
he felt like he didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, then don't fucking apologize.
Well, I mean, he has to
No,
now
he don't
because,
have
like
to
you
do.
said,
No,
he's
he
go.
don't have to do. No, he didn't have to do shit. If you're not sorry, don't apologize.
Okay, but now, like you said, he's going to lose money.
Okay, he'll go. And the best way to do that is apologize in person, not to a fucking Instagram post after the fact.
Yeah, but who no nobody anticipated that he was going to get suspended.
No, you're right. But the problem is that when he continued to defy the organization, he asked for this. He constantly
So
defied the
you
organization. He completely, like, again, it says in the article that he tried that his boss tried to get in contact with him and he ignored it. Like the article says, Josai did everything in his power to not to discipline him. He did everything in his power to protect him, and his pride and his stupidity got the best of him.
he okay. Before I go, read the stuff.
Okay, so first thing, apologize and contend the film he promoted. Make a $5,000 donation to anti-hate causes. Complete sensitivity training. Complete anti-Semitism training. Meet with the ADL and Jewish leaders. Meet with team owner Joe Side to demonstrate an understanding of the situation. Now, do you think he's gonna do any of these stuff?
No,
Look,
you
if he does, I'd be surprised. If he does, I'd be surprised. Now, apologize and condemn the film. I don't think he's gonna do that. He's not gonna do that. The $500,000 donation. He technically already did it. He technically already did it. They just decided to take his money back, not to take his money. Sensitivity training. I don't think he's gonna do that. Anti-Semitism training. He's not gonna do that. ADL and Jewish leaders. He may do that. He may do that. And the last one, meet with Josai. Look, Josai. If he's not gonna see, if he's not gonna go see Josai gonna go see him. So like, that's gonna happen regardless. But okay. So what's your angle on this? Because it seems like you're defending Kyrie Irving.
yes, I'm defending Kyrie Irving because I don't know why in the world they're going to waste their time giving him this huge laundry list of stuff to do so he could be accepted back into the organization. Like, tell me at any point in NBA history where an NBA player has this laundry list that he has to do in order for him to come back into the game. Like, have you ever had? Has that ever happened before?
I mean, probably in private, like guys have like certain requirements to come back to a team or whatever. Not in public. But here's the problem is that he asked for this. That's the problem that I have. Like, again, do I think that this list is just there to embarrass him? Absolutely, I think this is. This is absolutely done to embarrass him. But the thing is that if he had just been contrite, even if he was faking, if he had been contrite from the jump, then none of this would have happened to him. None of this would have happened to him.
Yeah, but you telling him that he has to do this stuff is completely outside of basketball anyway.
But you know what else is
Has no,
outside of
has no,
basketball? You
it
know
has
what else is
nothing to do
outside
with
of basketball?
basketball.
You know what else is outside of basketball?
Hmm.
You sharing an anti-Semitic book when you play in a city that is full of Jews.
To me, in my opinion, him just having it because you and I had this. Well, it was really more you and Jabanis talking about if he was promoting the book or not. All that is irrelevant to me. If he decides that he wants to post a book, a movie, whatever it is on his channel or on social media or whatever, he should be allowed to do that. Because like he said, He didn't make the book. He didn't. He's not the one who orchestrated everything. All he did was just freaking post it. That's it. If you are going to get punished because of a post, there's actually no reason for you to have to deal with social media anymore. If you truly going to be punishing people, suspending people, taking people's money away for just posting stuff, he didn't even say anything. We don't even understand the proper context. All he did was just post it. And if you're going to punish people for that and give this drastic laundry list that he has to do, then you're pretty much saying that we shouldn't even get ourselves involved in social media anymore.
Right.
And saying that, well, freedom of speech, oh, that means that doesn't mean you're free from consequences. I mean, why should he be dealing with consequences anyway for just posting something? That's all he did was just post something. If he had said something along like, oh, okay, I know this is being probably hyperbolic, but if he had said, oh, Jews are scumbags, Jews are frauds, or whatever, along with the post,
He
then I
shared
would
his book.
understand.
He shared a book that pretty much says that.
Look, he didn't say anything. That's what
He
he was trying
shared
to
a
that
book that essentially said that. He
he
promoted the book.
he all he said was that he posted it, but he never said anything about him being better than them or whatnot. All he said, he knows where he came from, and that he believes that he and black people are Jews. And look, a lot of people felt that way. Look at all the debates that people had. Or was Jesus white? Was Jesus black? Was Jesus brown? And all this other stuff. And people, all
You
they do
can
is compile all the evidence, right? They
you
compile
can
all the
share
evidence of.
your
Go ahead.
thoughts on that without promoting
Huh?
the book. You can do all of that without sharing the book. If you want to have a discussion, a deep discussion
It's
over,
pretty much the same thing.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
What's the difference between him saying it and him just posting something that says it? What's the
Because the
difference?
book promotes anti-Semitism. That's the problem. If you want to have a discussion over the history of blacks and Jews and stuff like that, then that's fine. That's not an issue. That's not an issue. But the problem is that movie promotes anti-Semitism. That's it. And when you represent a brand, you can't be doing that. It's the same thing with the whole Anthony Edwards situation. Like he said something on his social media that was stupid, and he got punished for it.
Yeah, because
Why?
he
Because
said it.
yeah, no, yeah, you are right there. But when you share stuff like that, you're going to get in trouble. Cause trust me, like if it was cat in the hat, no one would give a shit. If he shared cat in the hat, no one would give a shit. No one would care. The
Okay.
problem is when you have that platform, right, and you represent a brand, you can't share books like that. You can't. You can't share social media content. You have to be more wary of your social media. You have to be, because at the end of the day, you're representing a brand.
So he doesn't have the freedom to pretty much do anything now at this
He
point.
can do whatever, Steve. He can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But if you do something that's stupid, you're going to get if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Period. He played a stupid game, and now he's getting the stupid prize right now.
And you think it's justified.
It don't matter what I feel. It don't matter what I think. The fact is that he could have solved all of this by saying, you know what, I should not have posted it. I apologize to the Jewish community, and move on. What that post that he posted on Instagram, all he had to do was say it there, and then you're good. You don't wait till you fucking get suspended to be apologetic, because it shows how much of a phony you are. You sit there, you're all like this, and it'll be like, oh, I'm not, I didn't do nothing wrong, this and that, and then you go from that to apologizing on Instagram. The fuck? Keep the same energy. You
No,
put you
no.
you you put yourself in that situation. You wanted to be all prideful and shit, Be like, oh, I didn't do nothing wrong, I didn't do nothing wrong. And then you go from that to apologizing after you get suspended? No, you're a phony. As far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have done the exact same thing because when you start losing money and now that your career is now in jeopardy, yeah, he's going to pretty much eventually fall in line because he doesn't want to lose, his job.
He
You know
should
what
have
I'm
thought
saying?
about all. He should have thought about all of this before he shared the fucking book in the first place.
Again, if he believed that just posting something should be perfectly fine and it's all in his right, I don't blame him for. I can't blame him for that. I can't blame him for that because
But
all he did was just post. All he did was just post the book. That's
it's
it.
the reason why he's in trouble now, and he could have easily have solved this problem by apologizing. If you don't feel like if you don't feel like you did anything wrong, then stand by that.
Yeah,
Stand by that.
I mean, he tried doing that, but when they're constantly
Well,
pushing an issue,
he tried doing what?
he tried to stand his ground, stay in his original position, but because you have the leagues suspending him, you had his boss trying to constantly reach him. Obviously, they're trying to persuade him to do something that he doesn't want to do.
Look,
They're doing this by force. They're not doing this because of his choice. They're doing
again,
this by force.
if you
They're already dealing with so many problems right now.
yeah, and a lot of this is
They
doing. A lot of this is doing. No, mind you, this is not the first time Kyrie Irving got in trouble with that organization. He's a habitual line stepper. Like, and that's what you get. And he thought that he can step over the line and not get punished. And he got punished. And the one thing that you said that I'm glad you said is that, oh, they're punishing him because he like that he now he has to stand down. No, you don't have to fucking stand down. When you go by a stance, you have to deal with the consequences of your stance as well. You can't just take a stand and then once you get in trouble, you're like, I changed. No, absolutely not. If you're going to stand by what you believe in, there are consequences to that. You
I
have
agree.
people out.
I will agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't. I like again. Do I like I said when it comes to this list, right? Clearly, they're punishing him. They're trying to humiliate him. But in my opinion, he asked for this. He asked for this. He got what he deserved because at the end of the day, if you're going to sit there and come up with this apology on Instagram, you should have done this. You should have done this at the media session that he was in there earlier in the day. You should have done this earlier.
Yeah, he should have done this earlier. But at the end of the day, this should be my last thing, and then we can move on if you want. But I think the organization is completely wrong for trying to push him to make, to do all this laundry list that they want him to do. All this list of demand that he has to do by force just so he could, get back to the organization. I think that's wrong. You're that's right there to me. You're literally pushing him, forcing him to do something that he doesn't want to do. And I don't think that's right as an organization. He did what he did. You suspended him. He lost money. That should be enough. You did what you had to do. You suspended him for 5 games over a post, a stupid post, and you want to suspend him for it? Then go ahead, suspend him. But that's all should have been to it right then and there. Suspend him. He did his time. He lost his money. He paid the fines. Let him go back into the organization and let's start from scratch. That's what they should have done. But now they're suspending him. They're still having the team's still not good. The team still sucks, and they have other things to worry about. But if they want to focus on Kyrie Irving, in a stupid post, then that's just more drama, more a recipe for disaster. That team has no future. That organization has no future whatsoever. And the fact that they want to constantly harp over this thing instead of just trying to make your team better, that's what you really should focus on trying to do. And like you're not going anywhere. You're focusing stuff outside of basketball way too much. Focus on basketball. Focus on your organization. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. But that's all I have to say.
You can't concentrate on the organization when you have half your fan base boycotting you. You know what I mean? Over anti-Semitic, messaging from your top one of your top stars. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
are you talking about when they were wearing those
Yeah,
shirts, and
yeah.
okay.
And it's only gonna get worse from there. It's only gonna get worse from there. Like I said, man, like he plays stupid games. He wants stupid prizes. I can't feel bad for him.
Mm.
No,
I think everybody's being a little way too sensitive and then being a bunch of crybabies. But go ahead.
all right. Well, I mean, if that's how you feel. That's how you feel. I look. He got what he deserved. Like, and I'll read. Let me read this comment, and then we can move on. The next team is a disaster. Ben Simmons got crossed by Luka last night. I didn't see the game. I didn't see the game.
That
I
like if he wait, you said Ben Simmons got. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mind if you being crossed over. Like, well, even the best defensive players could get crossed over and whatnot. The thing is, with Ben Simmons, he has never been good this whole entire season so far.
Yeah, yeah,
Out of all this time, not playing in Philadelphia, and you decided to say, oh, you had a back injury and all this other stuff. They gave you rest. They gave you pretty much everything that you needed, and yet you playing like this. So what was all this waiting for? What were they waiting for? For you to play like crap? I'm gonna get out of here, man.
All right. And Ruben, I don't know. F said that the idea of a list of requirements is crazy, but
Exactly, F.
if he had done what he was supposed to do, he would not have had this list.
No, 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 no. What F is saying, they should have never, regardless of how they felt or what Kyrie did, right or wrong, that list is just stupid, plain stupid, and a waste of time in my
Like I
opinion.
said, if he had done what he had was supposed to do, he would not have to deal with the list. That simple. And Ruben points out perfectly here, there are consequences for your actions. There are consequences for your action. Even if the action is good, there are consequences to that. Look at Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali lost 3 years of his boxing career because he didn't want to enlist in the army. And his reasoning for it was actually very good. But the problem is that around that time, there was a different ideology going on. And he paid the price. But he stood for what he believed in. And he was willing to sacrifice in order to stand his ground. Now Kyrie looks like the type of person who probably had the potential to do that, but running to Instagram after you get suspended to apologize, that's not standing your ground. You just look like an idiot after the fact.
Yeah, I agree. That's not standing your ground. But to answer your question, I mean to answer your statement, Ruben, you saying, oh well, consequences, yada yada yada. There should have never been a consequence for this. Him posting something shouldn't have been. The result should have not him being suspended just because of a stupid post, in my opinion.
All right. Well, if you have, all right, let me ask you one question about that. Right. Let's say Gordon Hayward decided to share a racist book on his timeline, a book that pretty much denies slavery, trashes black people, and all the other stuff. You think that you're gonna have this. I don't know how you're gonna feel, but you think the NBA is gonna be okay with that?
Probably not. Probably yeah. Probably not. But there's a lot of people that believe that slavery didn't exist anyway. A
That's
lot of
fine.
people are
That's perfectly fine, Steve. That doesn't mean you have to share it.
if they decide to share that opinion, I mean that's up to them.
Okay, that's fine. But you think that the NBA is going to be okay with that? You think that he's not going to get punished for that? You think that the fans in I don't even know where he plays right now, but you think the fans are going to be his fan base is going to be okay with cheering for a fucking racist on their team?
No, no, of course not. Of course not.
I mean,
But at the end, but at the end of the day, a lot of people would say, well, at the end of the day, that's what freedom of speech is all about. Able to say things that even if it comes to offensive, even if it's offends people, you should be protected by it anyway.
but businesses have a right to not want to be involved with people who are racist or bigoted or bad people in general. They have a right. They have a right. They have a right to that. They have a right to that. If a business doesn't want to have any part of you because of your hateful views, then I don't want to hear you crying and crying on social media about being canceled and shit like that. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So I guess we can move on from here. Let me get to the next topic. Oh man, this topic is crazy, and this one pretty much got swallowed up because of the whole Kyrie thing. But sports psychologist files civil lawsuit accusing former San Antonio Spurs player of exposing himself during a therapy session. So this guy right here, Joshua Primo. I've never heard of him. I don't know if you heard of him, Steve. But
I don't think so.
all right. So let me read the article. A sports psychologist who was under contract with the Spurs has filed a civil lawsuit against the organization and 19-year-old former Spurs player Joshua Primo. The psychologist alleges that the player exposed himself to her during therapy sessions and claimed the organization leadership failed to act despite her numerous complaints about Primo's inappropriate sexual conduct, according to court filings. Primo had denied the allegation. The Bexar County, Texas Sheriff's Office has opened a preliminary investigation into the allegations. Uh, Spokeswoman Aldila Simpson told CNN. CNN has reached out to Primo's attorney, for comment on the investigation. The lawsuit claims that Primo first exposed his genitals to Hillary Catherine during an individual private session in December 2021. That the exposure continued to happen, growing progressively and more extreme, and that Primo's behavior went unchecked by the organization leadership for many months, even after Catherine reported it. The Spurs legal team told Catherine, a licensed, credentialed clinical psychologist, that the team had lost her trust in her. Catherine's attorney Tony Busby said during a press conference Thursday. When her contract came up for renewal in August, they chose not to renew it, according to the petition filed by the Bexar County District Court on Thursday. Primo's conduct is obviously well outside the bounds of what is moral or is acceptable. His conduct shocks the consciousness, Busby said. I would also say that the Spurs' conduct and the way they handled this matter was erroneous and absolutely unreasonable. Primo was released from the team on October 28th. Spurs Sports and Entertainment CEO R.C. Buford said that the roster move would serve the best interests of both the organization and Joshua in a statement, while not providing any specific details on the decision. Attorneys for the player had released a statement saying Joshua Primo is at the beginning of a promising career and has been devastated by the false allegations released by the Spurs. His attorney called Captain's accusations either a complete fabrication, a gross embellishment, or other fantasy. Joshua Primo is a 19-year-old NBA player who has suffered a lifetime of trauma and challenges. He is now being victimized by his former team-appointed sports psychologist, who is playing to ugly stereotypes and racially charged fears for her own financial benefit, their statement said. Busby said that his office has been in contact with Bexar County officials and his plans to also file a criminal complaint for multiple counts of indecent exposure against Primo. We expect we expect the proper authorities um, to prosecute, he said during Thursday press conference. CNN has reached out to the Spurs organization and the NBA for comment. So, yeah, that was interesting. Um, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this? Because to me, here's the thing. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this? I'll let you go first.
Um, okay, okay, but everything is. Here's the most important term. I think everything was pretty much alleged, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everything was pretty much alleged. So, um, okay, if what he did was actually happened, and he exposed himself, to what did they say? They were trainers, or they were
No, what it was. Apparently the thing was to her, the psychologist.
okay, she was a psychologist. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and from what I also heard, I don't know if it was in that article, that he exposed himself multiple times to him, to the psychologist, whatever she was, whatever she is.
Yeah,
Clearly he has a problem.
yeah.
Clearly he
The
go
thing is
ahead.
that he got released by the Spurs. He got
No,
released.
I'm talking. Yeah, I think he has some type of sex addiction, because listen, you have to. I don't. I think I know he's pretty young, because
19.
Wasn't he drafted just last year?
Yeah, he's 19.
Yeah, he had to have been drafted just like just last year.
Yeah.
And yes, he's young. He's only a teenager. Fine, but you're still considered as an adult. Like, where's your common sense, dude? You're going to an organization that's paying you a lot of money. You're representing an organization, and you decided to do this. Like, you just got into the league, and you pretty much just threw everything away.
He probably has mental issues, man. Like you can never discount that. He may have mental issues.
That's why I think he needs help.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he has a addiction problem. That's what I think he has. Like, you just got into the league, and you're already causing drama, and then the team decided to let you go. And at this point, I don't know if there's going to be a future for you. Now, of course, we need to know exactly what happened. We need evidence, whatever, whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but if this stuff actually happened, bro, you just compromise your whole future, my friend. Your whole entire future. But I'm curious what you was going to say.
Yeah, like I said, it is one person accusing him right now. So like I said, it's still up in the air. But the thing is that I was listening to audio talking about this situation, and there was a couple things that came up that was interesting. One,
Hmm.
apparently she's not suing. I don't know if she's suing the Spurs, but she's not suing Joshua. He's in the suit because obviously the situation involved him, but apparently she's not suing him for money. Not suing him for money, right?
Okay.
Um, and two, what it was alleged that she tried to talk to Popovich about it, and the organization tried to hide, um, tried to keep her away from him.
Try to keep her away from Popovich.
Yeah. So make
Hmm.
no mistake
Yeah.
about it. If Popovich knew about this, this is a major black eye for his reputation. A massive black
Uh,
eye for his reputation. If he knew about this,
um, how could he have known unless Joshua told him?
I mean, if she had told him, talked to him about it, and then and then he had decided. Because remember, look, regardless of what his title is, Popovich is the most powerful man in that organization. It's him, and it's the owner, and then him. And his voice carries a lot of weight in that organization and in the NBA in general.
I agree with that.
So if there was a situation where he knew about Primo's issues and decided not to do anything about it, that's an awful look for him. That's an awful look for him. But based on what they were saying in the audio, is that the Spurs made a concerted effort to keep her away from him.
away from Popovich.
Yeah, which is weird. I would have figured that at the very least you would have tried to contact him outside of work or something. But like I said, I don't know how stuff like that works. Um, there definitely is more to the story. We just have to wait for it. But right
So
now,
as of right now, he's not in the team.
no, he's yeah, he's done.
Oh, you think his career is over?
Well, right now he's not on the team right now. If he has issues, like then like he gotta get that stuff fixed. You gotta get
The
that.
only the thing that I'm confused about is I'm not if she's not suing for money, what is she gaining here? Well, what does she want?
The organ. I guess she wants the organization to be held accountable because she feels like they didn't do their part to not only help her, but I guess in turn help him as well to get the help.
I mean, look, you have to. I mean, she has to understand something though. If you're going to accuse somebody for exposing yourself, and then yet we don't have any proof, pretty much everyone is just what you pretty much what everybody to do is just take your word for it. And oh, all right, he's gonna get in trouble. He's gonna get suspended. He's gonna get waived,
But
whatever it is.
here's the problem: if if she actually did um give them notice as to what's going on and they ignored it, that's a bad look for the organization.
Yeah, it's a bad look. Because if they didn't do any type of investigation, if they wasn't questioning Joshua or whatnot, then yeah, that's a bad look on them. But the thing is, they already cut him anyway, so
Yeah, that's
they, they already took drastic action, and that's pretty much the biggest punishment that he could ever receive, getting cut by a team.
yeah, but like that's something that should have been done a long time ago. Like it seemed like they did that to save face. That would seem like to me. They seem like they did that to save face.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you a question.
Hmm.
You every time when somebody is accusing someone else for sexual harassment, you should always believe them firsthand.
No, absolutely not. But if the organization, if she's telling you multiple times what's going on and you don't look into it, you're gonna get in trouble for that. At the very least, you owe her to at least look into it. And if you don't find nothing, then you don't find nothing. That's it. Like
Okay.
if you don't find nothing, you don't find nothing. So
So to me, if they didn't find anything, they should have never come to begin with. The only thing I could think of is maybe if he admitted that he did, and that's why they decided to cut him. If they haven't found any type of speck of proof or evidence, it's wrong for cutting that dude.
obviously, but if there is proof, then like for me, the most important thing for him is to get help if he needs it. If he needs help, he needs to get it immediately because you don't want to see young players lose out on the opportunity for the NBA based on a problem that they can't control.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too deep into it because it's political. But I went off on this former NBA player for spouting all sorts of bullshit on his timeline. When I sympathize with this dude because he had a huge fear of flying. I'm not going to mention the guy's name because he's not
Oh, I think I saw that one. No, you can mention his name.
right. Was Royce White or Royce Young? I forgot his last name, but yeah, I went at him on Twitter for spouting all this stupid shit on this and claiming the reason why I left the NBA. No, you motherfucker. You didn't make it in the NBA because you couldn't get on a fucking plane.
Yeah, he
Simple,
was too
simple
afraid to
as
fly.
Yeah, cut the cap. And I felt bad for him at the time because he was obviously very talented, but he had a huge fear of flying. He had a mental issue that he could not overcome. And then he wants to repaint his career as in, oh, I left because of this and this and this. Like, shut the fuck up, piece of shit.
Well, I don't. I think having the fear of flying is completely different than actually harming somebody else due to your sexual problems.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like the main thing is, if he has an issue, he needs to get help. That point blank period. If he has an issue, he needs to get help before he can go back on go back to the NBA. You know what I mean? Because if you have like, let's realistically, if he had this problem, and yet he's going out on the road, right? Now, mind you, these guys are on the road all the time. They're traveling all the time, and you already have groupies coming after you. You already have women throwing themselves at you. You get into a situation where he's a cute, like a Kobe situation. You know,
Oh man.
yeah, you definitely don't want that. You definitely don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So hopefully he gets help. And you know,
Yeah, yeah. I hope he gets help, bro. Like, get all the help that you need, and yeah, just try to get all the help
and we'll
that you
keep
possibly need.
yeah, and we'll keep an eye out on this investigation because there's definitely more to it than that. So yeah, there's definitely more to it than that. All right,
Yeah, but I do want to say one last thing.
mhm.
Like the whole thing though, being afraid of of flying, stuff like that is really not that rare.
Oh yeah,
There's there's
I don't like
there's
that.
someone, yeah, there's one of my exes. You actually know who she is, but one of my exes, her mom, she's actually afraid to drive.
Oh, for
Yeah,
real?
ever since the accident that she got into,
Hmm.
she never wanted to drive again,
Wow.
and that affected pretty much the family because either she takes the bus or she asks people for a ride, and I've given her ride plenty of times,
You know,
and when
my mom is technically the same way, but part of it is that her vision's not great to drive anymore. But yeah, but she stopped driving. She didn't feel comfortable driving.
well that's because it's a vision issue though. Like it's not because of um it's not because of she had some type of phobia, or she's just afraid of it. Like
Yeah,
there's something that is hindering her from actually wanting to drive,
yeah, okay,
if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I get that. I get that. But
Yeah, so I mean, like, I mean, this stuff is not a rare case, you know what I mean? So him being afraid to fly, people afraid to drive, like this just unfortunate. I don't necessarily think. Do you think those type of people need help?
if it prevents you from if it prevents you from doing what you need to do as an adult, like as someone, if it keeps, like, for Royce Young, whatever the fuck his name is, it kept him from an NBA having a great NBA career. I would absolutely get help for that.
Oh, okay, okay,
So yeah, so all right, so moving on. Let me see if I can get this here. Okay, PlayStation VR Volume 2. Why? Okay, so we're gonna get to it right here.
yeah. I wish I could read it, but I mean, I can't.
Now there's nothing to read. Like, but you see it, right? You see the pictures and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Okay, let me scroll down. Uh, um, now let me scroll down. PlayStation. All right, let's. Okay. Okay. All right. So you see PlayStation VR. Comes out February 22nd, 2023.
Hmm.
And for price, where are we looking at for price? Where's the price?
Yeah, and it's the price was just outrageous. I can't wait for you to find it. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And those of you that's in the chat, you would not believe how much this thing cost.
Yeah, let me go
But I
find
want
the
you guys
list.
to see it before I say it. I really want you all to see it. To me, this type of price is unacceptable, in my opinion. It's unacceptable.
Okay, PlayStation log. Let's go here. All right, right here. PlayStation VR 2 launches in February at $550.
Don't they have like features? I could have sworn they had features of why it cost that much, right?
Let's look at it from here. Let's see. Let's see the box. It includes a VR headset. It
Hmm.
has sense controllers and studio headphones.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's all.
Yeah.
No. There's no way. There has to
All right.
be
Let me
more
let
than
me
that.
read, let me read the features. Let me read the features. Okay. PlayStation VR 2 Sense technology includes key features that enable unique gameplay experiences, such as headset feedback, eye tracking, 3D audio, and adaptive triggers and haptic feedback from the PlayStation VR 2 Sense controller, together with compatible games, that they will captivate players' senses and offer an incredible deep feeling of immersion. Additionally, with enhanced headset-based controller tracking and high-fidelity visuals, 4000 by 2040 HDR video format, 20 by 2040 per eye, PlayStation VR adds a true next-gen gaming experience for players to enjoy. So, yeah. So you don't like the fact that this thing is 550.
And let me tell you why I don't like it because I know you don't like VR,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure you have no intention of even trying VR whatsoever.
Nope.
And personally, I think you feel the same way about VR, the same way you felt about the Wii and about Connect. You think it's just a waste of time
Yep.
and a gimmick that really doesn't enhance any type of the gaming experience whatsoever for you.
Yes.
Okay,
All this is
I
true.
don't, fe- I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way because as much as using a regular standard controller and whatnot, people there's always a what's the word? Okay, all right. I can't figure out what the word is,
Mm-hmm.
but look at fighting games, for example. There's
Mm-hmm.
a reason why a lot of people would prefer to use a stick over a controller, or
Yeah.
like how you and I would prefer to use a controller over a stick.
Mm-hmm.
Some people could use, all different types of, whatever. When it comes to VR, it I honestly believe that the although it doesn't have a traditional controller, I
Mm-hmm.
do believe that the experience is completely different than opposed to just using a traditional controller. I do believe that the experience is slightly different. I because it's one of the reasons why I don't blame people who have who love racing games and they would actually buy the whole entire
Racing wheel.
car, the wheel. What happened?
They'll buy a racing wheel.
Yeah, the racing wheel. They'll actually have a gas pedal and whatnot instead of using a traditional controller
Yeah.
because they love the racing and they want to have that experience of being in an actual car and in a virtual world. VR training, I think applies to VR to the VR too. I think the same thing applies there, where you have a completely different experience in opposed to just using a standard regular controller, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I don't. So that's why I don't necessarily believe it's a waste of time. That's why I want to try VR, especially when it comes to horror games, bro. You know how much I love horror games. The whole point of having horror games is to get scared, is to constantly be at the edge of your seat. You don't really get that type of experience from any other game, like I said before in the previous podcast.
Yeah,
So,
Resident Evil Resident Evil is gonna there is a VR Resident Evil game that's gonna be
exactly.
yeah.
I guarantee it will have you spooked by just for the fact that you're playing in VR. I think the experience with Resident Evil will be completely different in VR than just using a traditional controller.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that. And so I believe just like how with racing games or how when people use control sticks, I do believe that you will have a slight not an advantage, but you will have a slight different type of experience by playing in VR depending on what the game is. Because I honestly believe when it comes to horror games, and some people may say first person shooters. Like I could understand why they would put first person shooters on there. People wouldn't play first person shooters or any first person video game in general.
Mhm.
Where the experience is there because where the experience is enhanced, excuse me, because it feels like as if you're actually in the game. So I don't necessarily believe it's a waste of time or a waste of money. I honestly do believe there's a demand for this type of market. I do. But it is not worth $549. Absolutely not. You mean to tell me that even with all the stuff that you have to offer me, that this thing is actually worth more than an actual console? Than a console. Look, I'm all for VR. I know you feel like it's a waste of time, even though I gave you some good examples for it. I'm pretty sure you still think it's a waste of time. But
No.
for goodness sakes, man, there, it's still at the end of the day, it's an accessory. Accessory should not be accessory should not be more than your primary device. It shouldn't.
All right.
You go ahead.
No, finish.
Okay, yeah. So pretty much, I am going to spend $1,000, over $1,000, with no games, with one controller, because obviously unless I get a bundle, a console,
Yeah.
a
And
bundle.
there's a Horizon game that comes with a bundled PlayStation VR.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. So I have nothing to worry about that. But
No,
still, though,
it's a bundle. I think that bundle costs because you could buy it by itself, but the bundle cost let me see if they have it here. Okay, no. Oh yeah, the that bundle costs 600.
but you don't- but that does not include the console.
No, it doesn't include the con. No,
Yeah,
it includes the game, but not the console.
right. Just the VR and the game.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is this: look, Sony, with this type of price, you're just gonna have more and more people constantly hate you. People are pissed. Look, I don't want to really have another crazy debate when it comes to Game Pass. But
Hmm.
once again, this is how people are going to just revert back to Game Pass.
Game
Because
Pass has nothing to do with this.
no, 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 okay, okay. I think you're. I don't think you understand the correlation. The reason why I'm bringing up Game Pass is because a lot of people will say to themselves, by going to Xbox, I'm saving money. If I go to PlayStation, I'm spending extra money.
But
If I want VR, that's extra money. If I want to
okay,
buy video games, $70, that's extra money, opposed
look,
to spending less money by going to the other console.
here's your problem with that statement. If you want VR, the only console you can get is a PlayStation. If that's what you want. If you want VR, that's what you're gonna get. You need to spend money to get VR because you're not gonna get VR on Xbox. They don't support it.
I
You're
know.
not gonna get VR on Nintendo. They don't support it. So that's why I said Game Pass has nothing to do with it. If you want to talk about just the game, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you out. But when it comes to VR, if you want VR, like you have to buy PlayStation if you want a VR on console.
Yeah, you have to buy the PlayStation, which is 500, and you have to buy the VR, which is 500.
Yeah, but if
Who
you
who
want,
who in the world is going to want to spend that kind of money?
if you are interested in VR, then you spend that kind of money.
What?
Yeah.
Have it up. Let me be realistic here.
All right. Well,
Be realistic here. It costs too much.
are you looking at the screen right now?
All I see is a black screen.
You should see it right now.
Okay, I can see it now.
Okay.
I have to get closer because remember, my phone is a small screen.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. All right. So Meta Quest Pro, $1,500. Meta Quest 2, Oculus, $400. Again, Meta Quest 2, 400.
I don't even know what that is.
This is VR.
Oh, okay,
This is
okay.
VR. And trust me when I tell you this. When it comes to this, if you're gonna do this on gaming on PC, yeah, you're gonna need a strong PC to play this, to use this. Or I don't know, is this on phones or whatever? I don't know if you use this on phones. Let me see. Yeah, but if you're using this on PC games, yeah, this thing's gonna cost money.
But
Cost
does it
money.
cost more? But does it cost more than a PC?
In a PC, it depends on what PC you get. Because a $200 PC ain't gonna run this shit. Ain't gonna run games for this. So you need at very least like $500, $600 PC
Wait,
minimum.
does that say $1,499
Yeah,
for VR?
yeah. For the Meta Quest
That's
Pro.
that's nuts, dude.
And
That is that
and
is insane.
and truth be told, I'm sure this is stronger than the PlayStation VR 2, but the
Hmm.
specs for the PlayStation VR is in line with a lot of these high quality, high line VR headsets. They're in line. The price is in line.
So you are okay with this VR device more being more expensive than PS5? You okay with that?
It makes sense.
It's still an accessory. You know that, right?
Understand it's an accessory, but it's an accessory that comes with its own games, its own controller, its own specs. It comes with its own it comes with its own, gaming, what do you call it? Gaming economy.
But even with that, it's useless without the console.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But a lot of these headsets, a lot of these expensive headsets, you need PC to run these things. And your PC is likely going to be expensive if you're going to be running these VR games. I mean, the only person that
So
I guess I can ask Yoshi and finally, um, these questions. But like when it comes to PC and VR, but yeah, man, you're gonna need a good PC to run VR. And you have
it's
you have, you have some cheap ones out there, but like if you want something that handles the type of game that they're gonna be playing, you're gonna need a good expensive VR headset.
I don't think bro. I don't think this is fair, man. This is not freaking fair. You cannot ask people to spend this type of money. This stuff is like for rich people, man. Rich people.
I mean,
I can't.
this is the technology that people are investing. These are the type of economy that people that this is the type of technology that people invest in. I mean, people spend hundreds of dollars on phones. People spend thousands of dollars on TVs. Like people spend thousands and thousands upon thousands of dollars on cars. Like if you're gonna make the investment, you're gonna spend the money.
So you have okay. So you're pretty much okay that it's more pricey than the PlayStation. You okay with that?
If the technology fits it, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. If the technology warrants the price, then yeah, there's nothing wrong. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with it. If you don't want VR, then get a VR solution that's cheaper. But I don't believe that if you're going to be if you're going to be gaming in VR, right? Whether you're doing it on PlayStation or PC, that you're going to be spending little money on it. You're going to do it on a budget. I refuse to believe that. If you're going to invest in VR, you're going to be spending some bread.
Honest, well, I'm only reason why I'm irate about this is because I want to experience VR, but I'm not going to be experiencing VR spending this kind of money. No,
And
thank you.
you're entitled to that. You're 100% entitled to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask our mutual friend what his thoughts on VR is.
To my Yosh.
No. Well, I should ask him too. But I'm gonna ask our boy Riddler that real quick.
Yeah, he's not gonna participate in the chat. But well, you can ask him right now.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and ask him right now. I see it. That it says that it senses a character's presence as they whisper in your ear, locate friends and enemies by your gunfire or footfall, and surround yourself with incredible realistic soundscapes as in-game audio dynamically adapts to your position and head movements with 3D audio tech. I mean, look, that does sound impressive. Let me see. Okay, the headset feedback, subtle responsive headset vibrations from a single built-in motor create a unique, intelligently tactile element to gameplay, from the rush of an arrow flying past your head to the thrust of a speeding vehicle. So clearly there, it's trying to simulate actual reality when it comes to different types of weapons, um, all different types of, I guess, machinery such as vehicles and whatnot.
They're trying to create an app. Oh, they're trying to enhance the atmosphere of what VR is.
Yeah, virtual reality. Yes.
Yeah. So they have all these features when it comes to like haptic feedback and all the other stuff that help with that. And that technology is not cheap. That technology is not cheap. Well, like, okay, what would be the appropriate price for you? Now, mind you, you still have to buy the PlayStation 5 to really experience it. You have to buy PS5 anyway. But what's the price for you?
For this, I think the right price for me would be 350.
350
or 400.
Okay, hold on a second. I just got a text message from Riddler.
All right, so why you do that?
Mm-hmm.
It says here, interactive with virtual world in amazing new ways, with haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, precision tracking, finger touch detection, all integrated into a unique and ergonomic design. Even as far as the controllers that they provide you, I think that's very impressive too. And yes, I do think this technology is very, very expensive. After what I'm reading here, it seems like it is very, very, very type of expensive technology, and it looks like it will definitely have you really truly experience a virtual world while try to simulate actual reality. I actually like that. I appreciate that very, 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 very much. I still, but still though, I think I just can't get the fact that it's still an accessory at the end of the day. And I think because of that, I feel like, man, it shouldn't be more expensive than a PlayStation until, obviously, because when the console gets older, it should be cheaper. But until then, I don't, man, I don't think so.
When the original VR launched, I believe it was $400, right? And at that time,
Hmm.
you can buy PS4s for cheaper than that. I don't know what the official price of the PlayStation was, but you could have gotten a PS4 for a cheaper price than 400,
At
right?
the time,
Yeah, yeah. At the time,
wasn't that wasn't that the standard price?
for the PlayStation was 400.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Was it?
you can find PS4 for cheaper than that.
Well, now, yes, now.
No, I mean back then, because remember VR came out several years after the PlayStation came out, after the
Hmm.
PS4, several years. And all right, so here's what I got. I asked Rudolphi. I mean, I asked Riddler this, right? Is it something you can go cheap on for a great experience? And he said no. Like I hate dropping frames. I don't mind 30, but it needs to be solid and smooth. And from what I've heard, like 30 frames when it comes to your eyes in VR is not good for you.
The 30 frames is not good.
No, it has to be. I think it has to be like 60, or if it's not 60, it has to be smooth, so that
Well,
you
I
don't
don't
get.
know. I don't understand the science behind it. Like, I don't understand how it would be bad, for your eyes by going 30. Like, I would have to do a lot of homework regarding that.
Mhm.
Um,
It's obviously it's one thing to play something on a TV screen, right? 'Cause you can move your perspective back, or you can go up close, or whatever makes you feel comfortable, right? When it comes to VR, like you have the headset on, it's right in your face. It's right there.
yeah,
It's right in your face. And
yeah,
you see videos of people like they kind of lose a sense of where they're at. They're like sucked into the game, and then if they're falling in the game, they accidentally sometimes they fall in real life
yeah,
because they get so caught up in the thing of it. So it definitely makes sense. I've heard that before. I've heard that before.
yeah, yeah. I went to this. I went when I was in Orlando. I went to this mall and I was trying, this VR simulator, whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And the
How,
guy,
how long
I,
ago was it?
oh, this was at least 3 years ago.
Okay, okay, okay.
Like maybe, well, actually, maybe more than that. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy had to constantly remind me, "Yo, stop walking," because every time when I would have to move, I'm I'm thinking I had to move in real life.
Yeah,
And he kept on telling me, you just move your head, move your arms and whatnot, but don't start walking because otherwise you're gonna start, walking across the street and things like that. Like don't do that. So he had to constantly remind me. So I could understand how people would fall, or if they see something, they would try to dodge it, and they probably would hurt themselves. So you have to be really really careful with your surroundings. But when it comes to like stuff like this, and I've seen uh like different type of VR in Japan,
mm-hmm.
how they have these. I mean, I don't want to go too far, but they have like these girls in the simulator where they're messing around with these chicks in VR. And
Yeah.
there was this other one where they were, I think they were farming or something, like they were like, it seems like they were planting stuff. And I think they called it what, multiverse or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The technology seems like it could go really 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 far, and I'm very impressed with it. I guess I'm not saying that you being ripped off. All I'm saying is it just feels weird to me that an accessory is more expensive than your primary device. I think just the principle of it, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
can get that, but this is some serious technology that they're trying to put in, and if you're just going to do like cheap VR, I feel like you're doing the technology a disservice by just going cheap with it.
So even with all the stuff that you read, how come you still not interested? How come you still not interested in it?
So I don't want to spend $500 on something I'm only going to use once in a while.
Wait a minute. So you don't want.
so,
Wait a
so
minute.
no, truth be told, even if it was 300, I wouldn't do it. Like I remember when I was with Sprint, right? They, I remember going to the store to fix my phone,
Hmm.
and they talked me into getting a new phone and all this new stuff that they gave me, and they included a VR headset, right? And the thing with the headset is that I connected to my phone, and then I just use that. I used it once, never went back to it.
Never went back to it.
Mm-mm. I think I
Hmm.
still have the box right now. I don't know if this one is compatible, but I still have the VR. I
Yeah.
still have it. But it's like it is not something that I'm interested in doing and using. It's not my thing.
Yeah. Your thing is just using a controller and that's it.
Yeah, that's all. And that I'm always gonna be that way. Like, and that's just who I am.
Would
But
you? Sorry for going off topic. Would
mhm.
you ever enhance the experience when it comes to the racing games, though? Like having a actual
I
wheel.
if there was anything that I would do, it would probably be that. But even with that, like when it comes to like racing games, I play I play Gran Turismo, I play Forza, and that's really it. That's really it. Like, I'm not gonna use it to play like a arcade racer. I'm not gonna do it for that. But
Not even if it's something like Need for Speed, you wouldn't do it.
it depends. It depends. But even still, like it's not if it's not the main game, if it's not the main way to control it, I'm gonna be less likely to use it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting. So Need for Speed Burnout, you wouldn't use it. You would
No,
just use it
that
for
burnout, no, absolutely not for burnout. No, that's too arcadey.
okay.
But when it comes to, it's the only piece of gaming peripheral that I would consider buying a like something like a driving wheel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even with all that, like, it's a lot. It's a lot, and those driving wheels are expensive too.
Yeah. Those are very very expensive. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes. Those are expensive. Okay. No, one more silly question. Would you ever buy a gun?
again, for VR,
No, for like to play like Call of Duty or something like that.
no, no,
Okay.
no,
Even tactical shooters, you wouldn't.
no, 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 no,
Okay.
no.
No, I'm only asking because I'm not gonna lie to you. When I go to stuff like Dave and Buster's, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna lie. It is fun when you're playing these zombie games or these army games and you have the the a rifle type style controller and you're pointing on the screen. I
Mm-hmm.
know you don't care about it probably, but it is
I
fun.
use those
It is
machines
fun to
once
play.
in a while. Yeah, I use
Hmm?
those machines. I use those machines once in a while.
Yeah, those are fun to play. Like I actually enjoy doing that. But back to VR. I think now I could probably understand. I just need to get my mind off the fact that um, based on principle alone, that it's wrong, that it's more expensive than the console. Like I'm just trying to force myself to get out of that based on principle alone. But
Yeah, but look, if you feel like it's too expensive, then yeah, that's perfect. You're probably within reason to think that, like, it's perfectly fine. It's just, to me, the technology warrants that price point, and getting into VR is an investment. It's
yeah,
an investment. Like, you're gonna be spending money if you want to do it. If you want to do like proper gaming on VR, it's gonna cost you some money.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
All right, so I'm done with this.
one comment from Ruben. VR has an audience. It's just not for everyone. Yeah, it's not for me. So
Yeah, anything outside of a traditional controller is not for Hoovy.
yeah,
Well, he said he'll probably use it for the wheel, but that's pretty
mhm,
much it.
yeah. Okay, so last topic is on Square Enix, right? And this is your topic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it up there. I'll read it, and then you tell me when to stop because if you want to chime in.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so Square Enix to shift its focus to global market success, which is weird because they had studios in other markets outside of Japan. They had the studio that made Tomb Raider, and they had other studios too. I forgot what they were called, but they had other studios too. So it's
Hmm.
like, so it's like now you're going for global success, but you already got rid of all your studios that attracted to audiences outside of Japan. But whatever. Let's just read. Let's just read.
They don't have Tomb Raider anymore.
No, they sold it.
Do you remember who they sold it to?
I think it was Embracer Group. But let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So, did do you remember the reason behind it? Like, was it because it wasn't profitable?
It had to have been. It had to have been. Let me see.
That's very surprising, man. Because the Tomb Raider brand has at least back in the day, at the very least, had a huge audience. It was a very, very popular franchise. The only complaints that people had with it was just so hard. But everybody loved the character. Like people love, Lara Croft. And I also enjoyed the movie. The movie was really good. And the games, I always felt that, the Tomb Raider games were awesome. So I'm in shock that they got rid of that iconic character. Well, I don't know how iconic she is now, but I'm really surprised that they actually got rid of that franchise, the IP.
Hmm. Let me see.
You found anything?
Um. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this happened. I think we talked about this. Yeah, Embracer Group. Yeah, Square Enix. They sold off all their Western IPs to. Is it Western? Yeah, I think. Yeah, Western. Yeah, they
Hmm.
sold all their Western IPs to Embracer Group. Get this stupid shit out the way. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about this. So they sold off like Deus Ex, Crystal Dynamics, which made Tomb Raider. I think they sold off the Hitman IP as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we did talk about this a while back.
Yeah, so yeah. So they sold off all their and now they want to concentrate on a global market. You already sold off your most important IP that would appeal to that market.
Right.
So I don't know. Let's read. Um, Square Enix reveals in a recent annual report that achieving success in Japan is no longer enough, and it will be shifting its focus to releasing titles that can perform in the world over. As a Western gaming market continues to expand, Square Enix has recognized that it is now necessary to cater to an entire world with its games rather than primarily Japan. Like I said, then why did you sell Square? Then why did you Square? Then why did you sell all your Western IPs? I don't get that.
Yeah, I
As a
don't.
Japanese company, Square Enix has primarily focused on its home demographic, with other markets being secondary. However, times have changed as a demographics of Japan changes with it. Square Enix is seeing the need to consider how to succeed everywhere. In a financial report released by Square Enix, the company discussed its plans moving forward and how it intends to achieve them. In it, a report details how Japan has a graying demographic, referring to its aging populace, and that due to a combination of to that and high production costs is necessary to produce games that will be popular all over the world, not just in Japan. Games take a lot of money to produce these days, and Square notes that it's no longer possible to feasibly recoup production costs, let alone turn a profit, if its games are only selling well in Japan. The report also heavily emphasizes games that have sold well for the company across the globe, detailing 36 million units sold for Kingdom Hearts series, 173 million for Final Fantasy, and notably 85 million for Dragon Quest, which has been a huge hit in Japan since its inception, but hasn't performed as well as series like Final Fantasy outside the country. Now, more than ever, across to new video games has become a global stimulus phenomenon. Companies that used to take months, if not years, to release a title outside of Japan are now releasing them simultaneously, like Sega's Like a Dragon series. This notably takes additional effort, as the developers not only have to think about the global market when designing the game, but translation and dubbing efforts have to be completed at the same time. More work than ever is going into games to get them ready for their release, and it's unlikely to demand will subside as gamers can access games the moment they release via download or streaming instead of having to wait for a physical copy.
So they're trying to focus more on digital games than physical games.
Um, did it say that? I don't. No, I don't think that was the point of the. I don't, no, I don't think they said that.
No, just that last part that you were reading.
Mhm. No, I
Just
think
that last part.
more work than ever is going into games to get them ready for their release, and it's unlikely to demand a the demand will subside as gamers can access games at the moment they release via download or streaming instead of having to wait for a physical copy. I just think they're saying that gaming nowadays is so rapid and fast that they can just get the games anytime they want, basically.
And that's what they're trying to strive for too.
No,
When it
no,
comes
no.
to their games,
I
they
think it was
want.
I think it was because remember the old school way of when it comes to like old Japanese gaming back in the day as opposed to now, like especially when it comes to Square, they have series that they will only release in Japan. And if you wanted to play those games, if you want, you had to import it and you had to get a translation of that game in order to do it. And if
Yeah,
if they wanted to release the game in the United States, they would have to, if they needed to, they had to change the game for whatever reason, and they would have to redub all the audio to put English voices in it if they choose to. If they choose to, they can either do that or just do a translation. They just have someone translate the dialogue from Japanese to English.
right.
And they're saying that even with the way that games can get delivered nowadays, and what their strategy is that we're going to release our games to a more global audience, and we have to have all these and despite the demand, they have to get all this stuff in a row, all the translation, all the other stuff. They have to get that stuff in a row. And if they're gonna do all that, they gotta appeal to a wider audience. That means they have to make more money just outside of just Japan. Because doing it that way is not going, is not, at least to them, is not financially feasible anymore.
In other words, they won't make enough revenue
No,
if
if they
they.
yeah, if they only try to appeal to the Japanese audience.
Here's what I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at one of their biggest franchises, right?
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy. Last time I checked, aren't most of Final Fantasy games also in the US?
Yeah, and that's the primary franchise.
Right. I don't understand what's this whole mumbo jumbo that they're talking about, where they could just easily just release the games here.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy has a lineage. There a lot of the other franchises don't. A lot of the other franchises don't, and that's why I thought them buying the studio that they bought to make Tomb Raider and Deus Ex was intelligent because you have the Western market and you have the Eastern market covered. But now since they sold their Western devs, like it's like okay now, so now you want to appeal to American market. You just sold off studios that make games that appeal to a Western market. The problem is, and I remember this being the problem with Square Enix, is that Tomb Raider, despite it being good, being a critically acclaimed game and selling very well, didn't sell enough for their expectations.
Are you kidding me?
I forgot how much it sold, but I think it sold like a million or whatever in the first week, and that wasn't good enough for them.
Wow.
And Deus Ex, I think the last one didn't sell up to their expectations. Like it's just, it is what it is.
I mean, here's the thing that I need to say, right?
Mhm.
I'm actually worried that about this article, and let me tell you why. Do you remember the huge outrage that everybody had, including myself, when they released that stupid Final Fantasy? I think it was Final Fantasy. What I think it was 13. Was it 13?
Uh, Well,
I think it was
what
13.
was the main thing about the game?
I do. I only played like 15 minutes of it, and I never played the game again.
Was that the one on the
Mm,
360?
Yeah, that was also for the 360. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
You
I
wanted
think
to
it was
watch.
13.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
From what I heard, right? From what I heard, the reason why Final Fantasy 13 was like that, was the way it was to appeal to an American audience,
Correct.
and because I think it was the first Final Fantasy game to release on Xbox, and
Hmm.
360, was doing well at the time, so they released it on there. That's probably why. So
I
what are you gonna say?
Yeah, yeah. It is 13. It's the one where you play as that chick. But yeah, it is 13.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried that they're going to go back to that stupid recipe again.
It's definitely a
That's what
concern.
I'm worried about.
It's
That's what
definitely
I'm worried about. I'm worried that they're gonna try that again, compromise the quality of great IPs just so they could appeal to the American market. And look, I understand that America is pretty much the biggest consumer in the whole entire world. We
Mhm.
are. I get it. And you want to make the most money out of it and take advantage of it. But that doesn't mean you have to compromise your games. You don't have to do that. And a matter of fact, like you said, they had the recipe to succeed by having Tomb Raider and Hitman and all these other games that they had at their disposal. Yeah, you pretty much already had everything that you needed.
Yeah.
But because was for some reason, even though with the revenue that you did make with those IPs, oh, it still wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. But what do you have left? You don't have anything else. Pretty much everything else that you have now is back to square one. All you have is Japanese games, and some of these Japanese games can succeed, over here. But if what you want to do is appeal to the American market, what you have to do is just make new games that appeal to the American market. Not. I'm just worried that they are going to take all of their great IPs and ruin them, similar to how Capcom ruined their Resident Evil games at the time, with
Hmm.
Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5, turning it into Gears of War and not having a traditional Resident Evil game. I think Square Enix is going to the exact same route.
And the funny
And
thing is, when it came to, and I hate to interrupt you. And the thing with Resident Evil, the moment they went back to their roots is when the game started becoming more. I don't know if it became more profitable, but I mean, I don't hear Capcom struggling to make to sell games.
Exactly.
Resident Evil is in the best place it's been in a long time.
Yes.
So, no, you continue.
Yeah. So with all the games at their disposal now, you can't simply just say, "Oh, we need more money, so let's cater to a different audience." I mean, the only way you could do that is if you try to compromise your game, and the game is not going to be good. You're not going to give us the same type of quality. You're not going to give us the same, type of, yeah, pretty much the same type of game that you've been giving us, for the past decade. And I don't see how that's the road to success. I don't. I really don't. Like you had like again for you to say well, we need to appeal to the American market, but yet you got rid of all your games that was catering to to the Western market. It actually makes no sense. You're not planning to buy those IPs back. Well, what's the actual game plan here? Like what is it that you're trying to do here? I look, you could do whatever it is that you want, just as long as you don't compromise the game that you already had. That's all I'm saying. Just don't compromise those. Don't go back to the route where you did with Final Fantasy 13. Don't do that again. That piece of crap game that you're trying to give me. That game was awful. Complete awful, utter trash. I'm telling you, I did not play 30 minutes of that game. I played literally like 10, 15 minutes, and I tossed it aside. I don't even know what the game is. I never played that game ever again because that was not the traditional Final Fantasy game that I'm used to playing.
Mhm.
So when they did that, I was done. I was done. I was done with that game. I was not going to give that game another chance. It was hard to even watch the playthrough, the walkthroughs. I was just like, you know what? At least let me see what the story is about. I couldn't even do that because I didn't want to watch the gameplay side of it. If you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
I just couldn't bear watching. So I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm screw this. I'm not doing this. I'm not wasting my time on this other trash. And now that they give us this article, I am so worried. I'm petrified that they're going to do the exact same thing with the future titles.
All right. Let me read some comments from Ruben. He had a lot to say about this. When you don't know you're successful outside of where you live, the reboot was successful enough. I think he's talking about Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider game. But even with the first game, it didn't sell to their expectations, according to them. In the second game, they made it exclusive for Xbox for a year because Microsoft paid them.
Yes.
And then the third game comes out, and the quality of the game dipped. You know what I mean? Even though it's not a bad game, but the quality of the game dipped. Because I think they had another studio making it instead of Crystal Dynamics, and now they sold it off. Sold DSX, yeah, they sold that game too. They sold that franchise too. So your Western IPs now they'll now then they will focus on our global market. They're trying to focus on less on the niche market domestically. I think there's more comments here. Okay. He said they usually complete altered they would usually completely alter the game, possibly even changing the entire IP when they westernize it. Yeah, and that costs money. That costs money.
Wait, I didn't. You kind of went fast. Like, what,
Okay.
what was
No,
it?
they usually completely alter the game, possibly even changing the entire IP when they westernize it. So what they do is when they bring a game, their IPs from Japan to America. Some depending, it's obviously every franchise is different, but so
Hmm.
sometimes they change it completely to the point where it's a completely new game, just to appeal to an American audience. And this is not the first time they've done this. This is not the first time Japan in general has done this. I think the problem is when it comes to Square Enix, right? And look, I don't play none of their games. I don't care about Square Enix, but the thing with Square Enix that confuses me is that I think they have a misunderstanding of what makes their game popular. I think gamers and I think they want to appeal to a mass American audience, but
Hmm.
the problem is that that mass American audience are not really gamers like that. I feel like they're trying to go after the Fortnite crowd when they have a big enough audience in this country to just make a traditional Final Fantasy game, and you know they should be okay with just that because to me, like if you're going after a crowd that's why that's why you hate Final Fantasy 13 so much, because they clearly designed the game to appeal to an American audience,
Yes.
and that's not what Final Fantasy fans want. That's not what they want. And I feel like this strategy that they're coming up with now, it seems like they're going in that same direction. And I get it; they gotta make money. I get it, but if you're going to completely compromise the identity of your brand just to appeal to an audience that already loves your games, and do that, I just feel like you're just asking for trouble, in my opinion.
And the thing is, I've seen them making a whole bunch of different Final Fantasy games
Mhm.
on mobile. I don't know if you noticed them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know
Yeah,
why, because Final Fantasy is their biggest IP.
yeah. Like they've already, trying to, appeal to, different gamers, whether if they're Japanese gamers or American gamers, but they put so many of their IPs, on phones already. So
Yeah,
like they're
I mean,
trying all these.
even
Go
like
ahead.
Tomb Raider, even Tomb Raider and Hitman Go was a popular game on mobile for a little bit. You know what I mean? They've done that already,
Right.
and it still wasn't enough for them. And if selling millions of dollars of a console is not good enough, then clearly you have expectation to be for it to be bigger than it actually is.
You're right.
And it's like, I mean, then you have to do a better job of budgeting your game. Because I think the way that they talked about Tomb Raider, they expected it to sell like, I feel like they expected it to sell like 20 million.
Okay,
And
so they want Mario type sales,
yeah,
Call of Duty type sales.
that would sound like to me. That would sound like to me. And Tomb Raider was never that. It's an iconic franchise, but it's not a $20 million seller.
Yeah, even back in the day when it was one of the most popular games back in the PS1, PS2 days, it never sold that many units.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. No, it's not. It's never been like that. And it just feel like they have this outrageous expectation for their games, and it's like I don't even for Final Fantasy. I don't know if Final Fantasy is their biggest franchise, and it's the only
Hmm.
franchise that I think translates from Japanese to American, at least in their eyes. But to me, if you wanted to do like Call of Duty numbers, or if you wanted to get the same audience as Call of Duty, um, I don't know. I don't know if that franchise had that much pull. I don't know if it had that much pull to get those numbers.
Yeah,
And for them to have that expectation is just, to me, is weird. To me is weird.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is because I'm trying to think of what other games out there that maybe Kingdom Hearts, maybe. But I don't know how many units they sold in total, but
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts, how popular that franchise is. I know maybe they could have your success with that,
Mhm.
but other than Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, I don't see anything else. Like I don't know what other game that they could actually entice the Western market to constantly buy and consume the same way how people are consuming Mario or Call of Duty. Like I don't see it happening. I don't.
I mean,
What they need.
I
Go
think the
ahead.
franchise, I think the franchise is closer to that. Is closer to like the, I guess, I think it's closer to, it's the closest they have to making a game of that caliber of at least selling that much. But if it sells, like, let's say if that game sells 10 million, and is that going to be a success for them? Do they expect it to be
Hmm.
like a $20 million seller as opposed to a $10 million seller? That's what I'm asking. Are their expectations of their game higher than what the game actually is? If you understand
Right.
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. Like that. That's what I'm trying to That's what I'm trying to understand. Is the game? Do you believe that your franchises, it's all about it's all about tempering expectations. If you think that the game is worthy of selling 20 million, that's all well and dandy, but it depends. But if you don't reach that, is that going to be a failure? And if that's a failure, then yeah, there's something wrong. There's something really really wrong going on when it comes to that franchise. There's something wrong with it because
It's
yeah, go ahead.
no, you go. You go. My bad.
No, because dude, most Japanese companies would die to have those type of numbers for Final Fantasy or Tomb Raider, or even for something like Tomb Raider.
Hmm.
Japanese companies would die to have those type of numbers, and for them, it wasn't even good enough for Square Enix.
Wow. Yeah.
And maybe they spent more money than they got, but even still, like, I mean, then you have to do a better job of budgeting your titles or something. You have to do a better job of doing that, of budgeting your titles, or budget, or tempering your expectations.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I'll give you the last word because you're a fan of theirs.
I mean, look. I don't really see them succeeding because look, with all the games that they have currently, whether if it's well, they got rid of Tomb Raider, like you said, and all
Yeah.
the other games. But with Final Fantasy, with Kingdom Hearts, with Dragon Quest, people are already buying these games now. They're already buying these games now. The only way that I believe that they have the actual chance to succeed is if they make just make brand new IPs. If if having Tomb Raider and Hitman didn't work, then just you're gonna have to start from scratch. The same thing how we like you was telling Sony, you have to make new IPs. And we have to say the exact same thing and have the same energy for Square Enix. Make new IPs if you want to appeal to a different market. But don't compromise the game. Don't compromise your franchise that you already have now. Don't do that. You tried that already and you failed miserably.
And
Don't mess up my games. Go ahead.
and when you mention Sony, like they've moved away from the Japanese market as well. They've gone their primary market now is the United States. That's their primary market.
Hmm.
And like you said, and you look at all their top devs are Western devs like Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Guerrilla
Right.
Games. They're all of them all their best studios are either American or from Europe. I think they only have
Yeah.
like one or two. I think they have like one or two Japanese studios, and we know why the reason why it's happening because the Japanese market has changed drastically. Gaming market has changed drastically over the past 20 years. It's become more mobile, and I think it's become more PC centric as well. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's definitely become more mobile. That's why Nintendo does so well over there. Along
Yeah.
with brand loyalty and stuff like that. But like you said, so what Square Enix is doing is not something that's surprising. I think the surprising part to me is that if you have these games, right? Like you bought those Western studios. You
Hmm.
had the opportunity to make games for it, but and they sold well. They sold millions of copies, but that wasn't good enough for you guys.
Right.
It wasn't good enough for you guys. You went and a lot of Japanese studios struggled with this when it came to that generation, the PS3 360 generation. They struggled trying to cater to a Western audience when really you didn't need to. There's a reason why we all love Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy and all the other stuff
Yeah.
and Resident Evil and stuff like that. We didn't need you guys to turn it into Call of Duty or Gears of War. The problem is that they wanted the numbers that Call of Duty was getting, that Gears of War were getting. They wanted those numbers.
Hmm.
They wanted that notoriety, and it didn't work. It didn't work. And the moment that a lot of these companies went back to their identity, they did well. They sold well, or they
Yeah.
were rated. They were rated. They rated well. So it's like, but it's like I just don't understand what their philosophy is. Like I get the philosophy to make money, but like, do you think that Final Fantasy is in the same boat when it comes to making money that Call of Duty is, or
No.
Fortnite is? Is
No,
it on?
absolutely not.
I mean, we have if they believe it and it don't work, then I mean, it'll be very interesting what Square Enix does after that. You'll be very interested to see what they do after that. So I don't know, man. Yeah, like I said, I'll give you the last word, and then we gotta go because I gotta go to work.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's fine. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty much, done. I'm actually glad that we did this, under 3 hours. But like like I said before, I am just worried that they are going to use their original IPs so they could appeal, to the Japanese. I mean, to the Western audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want them doing that. Just make new IPs, make new games. That's what you have to do. That's what if you want to succeed, you make new games. Remember, like you mentioned on Fortnite, it was a brand new game and it succeeded. If you want to have the same success as Fortnite, you're just gonna have to invest, and once you finish investing whatever that you need to do, you just hope for the better that the game actually succeeds. That's it.
Yeah.
But as far as all the games that you have now, the core audience is already set. You're not going to get more people. Like, for example, people like you, regardless of how great the next Final Fantasy games are going to be, you're not going to buy those games.
Yeah. 'Cause I have a
Like
set. I have type of game that I play, or not RPGs.
right. You have people that are just not interested in RPG, whether if it's action based or turn based. It doesn't matter because it's RPGs. People are not going to play it. And so the number, as far as Final Fantasy goes, the number is pretty much consistent and it's set. So you're gonna have to just try to make a brand new IP in order for this to work. If that is your ultimate goal, if you want to have the same success as Fortnite and all these other games, you're gonna have to try to make something new
Yeah.
without hurting the games that you already have. So with all that being said, I'm pretty much done. I hope we did good on time here.
Yeah, we did good on time. So, all right. So on that note, like I said,
There was no comments.
no, no, I read all the comments. Let me
Okay,
say
okay.
thank you for Ruben. Thank you for watching. F Malta. Oh shit. My bad. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, we're gonna be back on Monday. Hopefully, Steve gets his internet thing fixed. We definitely have a couple topics that we're gonna talk about on Monday. We already have them in the can. Um,
Yes.
plus we're gonna be reviewing. Plus we're gonna be talking about like a bunch of games that we picked up. Like I said, I know you picked up Sonic. I'm gonna be buying. I'm gonna be buying God of War on Saturday, and Yeah, so hopefully I'll get a chance to play it before the podcast. So yeah, man, it should be fun.
Yes.
Should be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. They're definitely fun. I remember someone did ask us, or I think someone asked you, how come we don't, review games as much? And I think someone had asked you one time, how come you don't review games on your channel? And
Mhm.
look, that is something that I would definitely would love to do. The only thing is just that I don't buy enough games to actually make a review channel, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't
Because
know if
the thing is that people like the reason why some people do it is because they get review copies, and obviously we don't do that. And
right.
I'm not buying any random fucking game out there. So like I said, yeah, there are definitely some games that I would like to review, like Call of Duty. I'm gonna review that game probably next week.
You're gonna do that. Okay, next week. Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm. Probably give you
Yeah.
my thoughts on the multiplayer. So yeah, so we have some cool stuff to talk about. So on that note, this is who we 186. I'm out.
Yeah. So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I am going to get this thing fixed. I will. We will go back to the original, my original mic, all the other good stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to get that fixed, and I'm going to be playing this game, Sonic. I don't care what Hoovy says. Don't listen to Hoovy. This character is an iconic character, one of the most iconic characters of all time.
I never argued
Excellent
that. I
franchise.
just said that half his
So
games are garbage. That's all I said.
no, no, we'll talk about that on Monday. When I make the review, we will have that discussion on Monday.
Yeah,
More than half of these games are great. Okay, they're great. But anyway, this is
yeah.
the Traditionalist 101 signing out.
All right.
Have a good one.
Movie 186. I'm out. Peace.